All right. We are live once again. Episode 5
No,
of
6.
6. 6. I'm always one behind of DK and the Bees Horror Buzz. And tonight's special guest, shooting the shiz, DK and the Shwag, the lost Leatherface, the Kemper killer himself, my good friend, the big Shwag, Brett Wagner.
Oh, here.
What's up, buddy? Long time no see.
My gosh, I think we just, it almost seems like it was less than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It feels that way.
It does. How you guys
Welcome.
doing?
You two are always on.
Doing well.
Always on.
Well, John's always on. I sometimes will come in. Yes.
Oh,
He sneaks attacks.
sneak attack.
But we've such great shows, so much fun with both of you guys. And now this is the first time for you, Brett and Beatrice, to get a chance to talk and meet each other. And we're doing it live on a live stream. What else? What better way to do it?
What better way to do it? Well,
Yes. Hi. How are you? I'm a big fan. I've been, once I knew you and John were doing something, I like to look up a lot of your acting credits because I'm a fan of actors, and you have done some quite. I mean, besides, of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, you've done some good movies. Worked with some Academy Award winners. That not a lot of people can say that, and some big directors, and then some really good stuff that I have watched.
oh, yay. Well, thank you. Have you seen any of my, not so big, but these Canadian ones you see in the back there? Either Quarantine or Matinee?
Yeah, of course. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Canadian stuff. So, but we'll obviously we can get into that. And I go to Canada a lot, and I was because of the TV show Monster Garage, which I used to be the voice of and hosted, and then I did a drag racing show called Pastime. So over the last 20 years, I love Canada. I would move to Canada, but it's not as easy as people think. They want to make sure you have $500,000 in the bank if you're going to come up there, and you're not taking anybody's gig while you're up there. So it's not that easy. But I do love Canada. I love going up to Calgary and Edmonton. We used to do the Edmonton Auto Show up there, the big car show in Edmonton, and just recently I've been hitting up. Went to Frightmare in the Falls last year, which was awesome, and on the Canadian part of Niagara Falls, which was just beautiful. And so, I have a nice little, I have a warm place in my heart for Canada.
How about Vancouver? Did you spend any time in Vancouver?
I do love Vancouver. Vancouver is, we do a thing up there called a show and shine. People, when you say car show, we have car shows in the United States, and in Canada they have show and shines. So I did a blueberry festival mixed with a show and shine in Surrey. So so very cool going up there. And people may not know this, but Canada is the number 2 exporter of blueberries in the world.
Now, I didn't even know that, and I lived there for years and years and years. Blueberry exporters, huh? And Surrey, BC is one of the places?
That is the place. That is, and I think Michigan is the second, believe it or not. But is the first. But yeah, I love Vancouver. Problem is, I live in California. It's already expensive as it is. Vancouver is unbelievably expensive, and you to get a small house, you're looking at $800,000 to $1 million for a nice house on the side of the hill up there. But Vancouver's beautiful. Love it. Vancouver Island, been there. Been to a couple drag strips in Vancouver. So I love it up there.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, my sister still lives on Vancouver Island. She was a goat breeder there. But yeah, I went to university on Vancouver Island, University of Victoria, and then started my acting career in Vancouver. And Vancouver was known as, maybe it still is, Hollywood North. Because we had so many films and TV shows. Half of the things you watch are filmed in Vancouver, it seems, or at least it used to be when I was there. But lovely place. So Surrey, I used to have a horse out in Surrey, BC. My agent and I had kept a horse out there. lots of good memories of British Columbia.
Yeah, now people don't. I love it. I mean, they don't. Timmy Hortons, right? So the glazed donuts there. It's just people. Starbucks is great and packed all the time, but you go see the drive-through in the morning and all throughout the day at Tim Hortons, anywhere in Canada, and it is an institution up there.
100%, absolutely. You gotta have the Tim Hortons donuts. Yeah. Oh, and then did you know it's so funny when I moved to New York and I met my husband, when I talked about, we were trying to find some place to park the car in the city, and I said, "Oh, is there a parkade?" And he goes, "Wait, what?" And I said, "Where's the local parkade?" And he started laughing at me. He goes, "Parkade, like the margarine?" I'm like, "No, a parkade. In Canada, you call parking garage is called a parkade." But
well, let me ask you real quick, because I wanted to ask you. Uh-oh.
I hear you.
I'm getting feedback here, but here we go. It's gone now. I wanted to ask you, born in Vermont, am I correct?
Correct.
So from growing up in Vermont, which is just a beautiful place, how did you get to Canada?
Well, actually, I can't say I really grew up in Vermont. I was born there in Bennington campus. Well, not on the campus, but we were living on Bennington College campus. My biological father was the music teacher there. And he had married my mom, who was his student. So she was actually 40 years younger than my father. Anyway, so another whole story. My father, guys, my biological father was born in 1896. Not my grandfather, my father.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was like 20 years older than my grandmother. Not many people can say that, right? My father's
ladies man.
Yeah, he must have been a handsome dude.
Yeah, my mom was his fourth wife. They kept getting younger and younger. But anyway, but then so we lived in Bennington maybe till I was 2 or 3, and then we moved to Princeton because then he was teaching at Princeton, and my mom was going to school there. And then from Princeton, when I was 5, we moved to Japan without my stepfather. Without my real father. My mom by then remarried, and we went with my stepfather to Japan. And I lived in Japan for 4 years. So Japanese is my first written language.
Wow.
Hai, Nihongo shabarimasu ka? Anatatachi. Wakarimasu ka? Hai, iya. Wakarimasu. Anyway.
So if you're going to Japan for anything, Beatrice can go and translate anything. All your needs are met with Beatrice.
I've done some wrestling. I've been to Osaka twice.
Wow.
So I do like Japan. I mean, for a guy my size, people stare at you when you're over there, but I like it.
Any sumo wrestling?
I love sumo wrestling. One of at Osaka Hall, as a matter of fact, that's where I got to go watch, and I did watch it one time. I love sumo, and the guys over there, and even the fans in Japan, when you're doing pro wrestling, it's a whole different. There's not a lot of yelling and screaming and everything. They're so engrossed in the match. When there's a time for them to clap and go, ooh, they will. Otherwise, they're very engrossed in the match. Sumo wrestling is amazing. It's John, if we ever get a chance to go watch that together, we should. It's just an amazing. And these guys are athletes. Now, back in the day, they were giant, they were big and everything. But over the last 10 to 15 years, they've also incorporated the weightlifting, and you don't have to be 600 pounds to win these tournaments. They got guys that are 300 pounds that are winning these tournaments and throwing guys that are 600-700 pounds around like they're rag dolls. So, yeah, I love it. The acting, and so now, I'm very curious, and I hate to I come on and be a guest and I'm grilling you, but I'm very curious about acting in Canada on the TV shows and whatnot and movies in Canada, as opposed to when you're working in the United States, if there's a big difference.
There is. I felt there really was. For some reason, I don't know, in Vancouver, and I would imagine it's across Canada, actors are actors. If you say that you're an actor, it means you've gone to theater school, you've gotten your classical training, you've worked on, you work backstage, front stage, lights, sound, you kind of have a background of theater, and the same with film, you have kind of touched on all the jobs so that you can graduate. And as an actor, it seems like in the Canadian theater and film industry, they respect you as an actor, and maybe it's a little different now. I think it's starting to change in Los Angeles, perhaps. But back in the day when I was, when I say back in the day, that I'm talking 80s and 90s, in Vancouver, you just work. If you're an actor, you make your living as an actor. So that means some days you do, you might do a radio commercial, then you might do a leading role on stage, and then you might do a day player on a TV show. You might have a small scene in a film. You go back, then you might have a lead in a local film. Then you might have, and you just go back and forth, and they don't put you in a box. But I found
you're an entertainer. You're doing everything. It's across the board.
Yeah, you can do commercials. You can do TV. I mean, now there's definitely, with all the streaming services, now we have that divide. I mean, there's no longer that divide. Now all the film actors are doing stuff that is shown on TV. But if you remember, Brett, I mean, back in the 80s, no way. You were either a film actor or a TV actor. Ne'er the twain should meet. It was very, very few and far between where somebody doing film would do TV.
No, I 100% agree. I remember the first time when I first started acting, I was like, I'm an actor. I do TV and film. Until I got my first commercial and made a lot of money. Then I'm like, I'm a commercial actor, for God's sakes. And yeah, but as I've given advice to people before, I said, if you're going to get into this business, don't look at yourself as just an actor. You're an entertainer and you do everything. Whether it's actually easier to get a commercial agent in Los Angeles, and maybe that's across the board, than to get a theatrical agent. So, like in New York, you can have as many agents as you want. In LA, you can have one person to represent you, whether they represent you across the board for commercials and TV, but I can't go get another agent that's going to represent me as well for the same stuff. So it's one and done out here in LA.
Yeah. And that's certainly, I mean, my experience with that was, when I had been living in Vancouver, I was doing, like I said, everything. I was doing theater, I was doing film, I was doing TV, I was doing radio. I loved it. I was working all the time. And then, and I had, at the end of my my stint there was when I had starred in those two films, and I was kind of finally had gotten to that place where I was the it girl, the one that when you're in an audition and you have a part and I walk in, people are like, oh, fuck, here she is,
Yeah.
Years I was not the girl, I had to get to that point. I had always had the girl that I would be going, oh, fuck, she's here, I'm not going to get the part. So, but I stuck with it until I got to that place, and things were going really well. All the casting directors liked my work and respected me. And, I followed my stupid heart. I followed a guy, my boyfriend, down to LA, which was really a bad career move. I was doing really well in Canada and I really could have gone further. But I went to LA where I was kind of unknown, and only because of, probably because of the role that I had in Stake Up, working with Emilio Estevez, I was able to get his dad's agent, Martin Sheen's agent, and Lynn, what was her name? Lynn. She's actually a manager, and the only client she had was Martin Sheen, Charlie Sheen, and Renee Estevez. And she took me on for whatever reason. And,
not a bad group of people to be managing, especially at that time.
Right? Yeah. So pretty much the first audition she got for me was this thing called Nightmare on Elm Street. And as most of my fans know, I actually got cast right there on the spot, which was the one and only time that ever happened. I read for them and we chatted and talked, and then they said, okay, you're Amanda Kruger. So that was pretty amazing. So I got that part. But then afterwards, I was just put in this box, and the only things I got was horror films. And I do apologize to all you wonderful fans who've shown me the errors of my way and how wonderful horror really is. But at the time, I had been an actor in Canada, and I'd done so many other things, and I just didn't want to be put in a box. I wanted to to things, and it was really upsetting to me because script after script, I got nothing but horror films, and I would be a lot more famous and a lot more wealthy had I taken them. But at the time, I was just, I didn't want to be put in a box. And
I mean, that's like the catch-22, right? I mean, I'm a big guy, and I when I first started acting, and I was, 21, 22 years old, I was this tall, big, large with guy with a flat top, and they see you as the kind of roles you're going to play. You're going to play a prison guard. You're going to play a young cop. You're going to play this stuff. And of course, I was still acting. I mean, going to acting classes, and I wanted to play more.
Right.
And then it gets to a point where you're like, well, I don't want to get pigeonholed. And then I'm like, I look at the Danny Trejos. I look at these guys who make a wonderful living being a character actor, who are, that when they do get a chance to be funny, people go, oh, wow, Danny Trejo looks like a murderer, but he's actually a very, very well accomplished actor that can do comedy, that can do the serious stuff that, if someone thinks outside of the box. So for me, at my size and my look, I don't mind it so much. And as long as I'm working, I'm a very happy guy. A funny, so Angus Scrimm, the tall man from Phantasm, very, a classically trained actor. And I think that he's not here with anymore, but I've heard some stories out when people will say, oh, in fact, he came into a record store one time. And I said, oh, I think you're one of my favorite actors in my favorite horror movie. And he goes, no, boy, that wasn't me. And I was like, well, I knew it was him, but I didn't want to say anything and piss him off. But I understand, some of these guys and some people that have gone through all this classic training and spent their whole life, whether they're doing theater and whatnot, and then they kind of get pigeonholed into stuff. But we got to make a living, so I don't mind it at all. I mean, I'd rather be working than not working. So if I got to be, play a killer the rest of my life and get those roles, I don't look a gift horse in the mouth, as my father would say.
Right, for sure. And I think absolutely, if that had been at the start of my career, or if I had not just come from starring in, a couple of films, and I had the lead role, and I had just gotten my equity card for doing a wonderful play in a big theater in Canada, and then starred in these two films. And I think I was kind of on a little high horse, at that time. It was like, oh,
sure,
but
well, you got to work with. I don't know. You got to work with Sidney Poitier, for God's sakes. I mean, you were great movie that I watched, and playing a nun a few times. Now listen.
Yeah, I guess. Do I look holy, you guys? I don't know what it is.
So Tom Berenger, Sidney Poitier, for God's sakes, one of my favorite actors in the world. In the heat of the night, one of my top 10 movies of all time. And you are sitting in a movie with a couple, Academy Award winner.
Yeah, it was amazing. The person I was definitely very honored to meet Sidney Poitier, such a gentleman. And one thing that's not on my resume is Katharine Hepburn, and I got to do a TV movie with her. It's called I think it's called Laura Lansing Slept Here. At least that was the working title. And it was a made-for-TV movie about she was a writer, and she would write these sort of highbrow romance. Oh, did we lose John? She'd write these.
Oh, he'll come back.
Okay, she write these little romance movies, and she wants to now reach out to the common people. So she tries to get to know common people. Anyway, long story short, my character was her agent's secretary. And we have a couple of really cute little scenes where she's asking me, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from Hoboken, which I didn't even know where Hoboken was at the time, but now that's where my son lives. But anyway, so we had some really lovely scenes together. And unfortunately, because of her age and because of her getting sick a couple times during this shoot, what would have been maybe 2 days or 3-4 days of filming at most for me ended up being like over a month. So I got paid quite well. But anyway, but the thing with that was I got invited to the premiere showing, and we all show up at this little theater, and I brought my agent and my boyfriend at the time to watch. And in retrospect, there was a really weird look from the producers when I showed up, and I remember kind of in the back of my mind going, why are they giving me that weird look? But anyway, I sit down, I go to watch it, and and I'm there with my agent, and my scene's about to come up, so I'm like, okay, here it comes. And it was gone. It was cut. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But I knew I had another scene. So I was like, that's really weird. And then we go through, watch the film, like, okay, here it comes here. And then that scene got cut too. And I was like, what? And I was so mortified, like I here I had brought these guys and I just went to just slink out of that theater. And when I did, dragging my agent, the producers came running up and they were like so apologetic. They said, we're so sorry. Your scenes were really adorable and we really tried to keep them in, but timing, they have to edit, and it wasn't necessary to the plot. They, and if you cut one, they said it only made sense to cut the other one. And they were very apologetic and they ended up casting me in something else afterwards. But low, and afterwards, and I remember walking out of there and I said to my agent, that's it, I'm quitting. I'm just obviously used to it. And,
Listen, in our business, if you stayed around long enough, you're going to get cut out of, cut out of a lot of things. Now I got I got Taft-Hartley, got my SAG card. After a year and a half, I was tired of doing all these, these recreation shows. I wasn't getting anything union, didn't get my Taft-Hartley, get Taft-Hartley. And finally I did a Tostitos commercial. And my agent said, congratulations, they're going to Taft-Hartley you. And at the time it was $1,500 to join SAG, I think it was, or $1,000. And I'm like, well, I don't even have $1,000, but he loaned me the money. Later on, I get in a movie, Ice Cube, the rapper and director and actor, Players Club with Bernie Mac.
Okay.
And I get to play a cop, and same thing. I invite all of my friends, and I invite some young directors that that I wanted to be in their films. And I said, "Look, this is great. I play a cop, and Bernie Mac, excuse me, is so funny." And we get there. I got like 10 people there for the cast and crew screening, not the red carpet.
Right.
And I'm not in there. You can hear my voice.
Okay.
Knocking at the door, but you don't see me. And I'm like, this is just mortifying.
No.
Then I go do a movie called Machine Gun Preacher with Gerard Butler. Was lucky enough to get a gig on that. Go to Michigan, film it. Gerard Butler was very nice. I gave him a copy of The Crazies. I said, hey, Gerard, I'm leaving tomorrow. Thank you so much. Here's a movie. I know you got a DVD player in your trailer. If you're bored, check it out. He says, oh, thanks, man. I would love to. So we go to the get invited to the red carpet. My wife and me go there, and I see Gerard Butler. We wait for him. He's coming down. I said, hey, Gerard, this is my wife. And he goes, oh. And he pulls me aside. He goes, listen, I'm really sorry, but the movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes, and we had to cut some scenes out to cut time and to get it down to 2 hours and a half, and you were one of them. And I was just like, but to have the lead of the movie come up to you and say, hey, I'm really sorry. That he even remembered me was very nice. And, my wife was like, oh, at least Gerard Butler came up and told you that you were cut out. So in our business, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah. We just hope we don't invite a bunch of people to it. That's all. But, guys, I wanted to comment. So Virginia Cano, I don't know if you're still on, but she said that her cousin was just killed in a car accident. I'm really, really sorry to hear that. Our prayers go to you and your family. That's frightening.
Our
that's not good.
For sure.
That sucks. And then there's a number of you that are posting, but you say Facebook user. I forgot to post again this week. I usually post that little link. You only need to do it once. You guys, if you do enjoy our show, either any of our shows, the 3 of our shows, or any shows that are on coming through StreamYard, you just need to follow this one link, go to StreamYard through Facebook, and then all you do is you just say yes, you give them permission to use your name, and then your name will pop up. Otherwise, we can't respond to you. I mean, we can respond, but it just says Facebook user. So anyway, just try to remember that for next time, you guys. Or maybe they can even
I'm going to try to get the link and post it.
Well, so we are having, obviously, some very interesting talking. This is, believe it or not, Brett and my first time getting to chat with each other. But right now, it is time for B's horrible jokes. Actually, maybe Brett has some to share. But I'm going to share with you 2 jokes this week, you guys. Only 2 bad jokes to deal with. So get ready to ground. All right. So I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why.
Hey.
Get it? I don't know why.
That's
And bad joke number 2.
I
Yeah?
think this is the link. Sorry. I dropped the link for you. Here I'm ruining the joke.
Okay. I asked my dog, what's 2 minus 2? He said, nothing. Anyway, okay. Do you have one for us, Brett?
I don't know now. I don't think. I think the ones I have, I probably shouldn't say on the air.
Okay.
However, next time I am on with you, I will have something witty.
Okay.
He'll bring his joke ammo.
So
Yeah.
this comment we've had up for a long time. Poor Jack's post has been just sitting here. Why do you think Tiny doesn't as well deserved applause for you as Leatherface does?
I
get it.
I'm not
I think he
understanding that. I don't.
I think he said he had some typos in that one. If you want to ask that again, Jack, we'll read it so we could.
You're not.
I think it was a good question. Yeah.
I mean, my character in Chrome Skull, Tiny was my name in Chrome Skull, the movie where I play a detective. Lost. I mean, laid to rest part 2, but I don't. I mean, if that has to do with Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I was in, I mean, I don't. A lot of people did not know, Jack, that there was another guy that played Leatherface in the movie. When I got hurt and sent home, and Andrew came in to replace me, my agent at the time, because I got heat stroke, my agent at the time was like, "Well, you didn't do this to yourself, so we're going to get the rest of your money, right?" So what they do then is they go to SAG and they say, well, it's almost like you're suing the production company. And so when it came down to it and SAG called me and said, what are we going to do? I got cold feet on it and said, look, it's not a big deal. I mean, it was a big deal, but I'm not going to go. I don't want to go suing, the people, the Michael Bay and everybody, just to get another 30 grand out of them. And because you might never work for them again. And so I never got the credit for it. It's not on imdb.com. There is, most people know that there was another guy that did the first kill in the movie, which is me. So just over the last couple of years, do I even talk about it? Because a lot of conventions know, some of the magazines talk about it. And because of that, I get to go do these conventions and have fun and say hello and shake hands, kiss babies, and eat some good food. So that's probably why it is. And, once you get to after so many years, especially with IMDb, where they'll have your name down and playing Leatherface, you would have to get one of the producers to go in there. And after a certain amount of years, IMDb locks those things out. So it would take one of the producers to go to IMDb and say, hey, we need to add Brett Wagner as, Leatherface or Thomas Hewitt. And but it's fine being called the Lost Leatherface, and, the people that know. And it was very fun to do the part, obviously. And I'm at an age now where getting the credit or getting that credit on IMDb is not that big a deal to me. So,
right. So there you go. You guys got that? Okay. So since you are, Brett, officially our guest, I do have another section, another thing that we do with our guests, and there's 3 questions.
all right.
To choose from. You choose one of them, and I will say them, and I'll also post them up here. You don't know which one is which, so it's basically question 1, 2, or 3. You get to choose which door do you choose. 1, 2, or 3.
Well, Lola, sleeping next to me.
Look at Lola.
Lola likes question number 3.
And actually, when you moved your camera, I think I saw a 3 on that pinball machine. Do that again. I'm seeing a 3. Oh, no, over to the other way. No, the other way. There. 3.
Yeah.
Three. Isn't that three, or is that an and?
That's a B, cue ball wizard, but it looks like a 3, so we'll stick with it.
There we go.
Good eye.
Okay, here we go. All right, so question number 3. If you had to change places with a famous person who is alive right now, and you had to live the rest of your life as that person, but with your soul, your mind, and your memories, who would you be and why? So it's somebody who's alive.
Oh,
And
wow.
no one will know that it's you. You will know. You'll still have your memories. You'll still be Brett inside of this person.
My gosh, it's almost like that Heaven Can Wait.
Yeah.
Kind of. Do you remember the movie Heaven Can Wait?
I remember the poster for some reason. What did he do? What was that guy's name anyway?
They took him, so he died in a car wreck. They took him to. We're getting that feedback. Oh, there we go. He died in a. The angels took him too quickly, and he said, "Well, you took me too quick." And then they said, "Well, we'll try to find a suitable body for you." And that was the whole thing. And he got to, have his memories, but he's living in another body, someone else. I would take an athlete, someone that was a young athlete. It doesn't have to be someone famous, but definitely, someone that was in just tremendous shape and, was healthy, because health is a big deal when you get to our age. And I'm diabetic. I got a giant blood clot in my leg that doesn't want to disappear. So as you get older, when people tell you that health is wealth, it truly is. If you're healthy and happy, then it kind of doesn't matter what you're doing or where you are. But health is a key component and all that. And so, yeah, I would take some kind of athletes, whether it was a runner, a football player, a swimmer. It wouldn't matter as long as I was in just tremendous shape. How about The Rock? I can take The Rock. The Rock is brilliant. He's funny. Second highest paid actor in the world, by the way. He makes more money than anybody. He's a god, and he's a very nice guy. So that might be cool.
That's a great answer. You can think about awesome. Good. Question number 3. I don't think people, and we've usually had people asking question number 1 and 2, so that might have been our first 3. Good answer. All right. So what's going on with our comments? Let me go back to. I wish that on this thing we could have those panels on the side open at the same time. But I can't do like the fun sound effects.
Yeah, they need a better setup on StreamYard for sure. They could do a lot of things that would be a lot more user friendly.
So some Facebook user loves you, John.
Yeah, I think it's the one who busted my chops. Somebody called me and they did it from your number. It was weird. It said Beatrice, so I got a phone call coming in, and some guy starts yelling at me about talking to his girlfriend. And I think somebody set up a prank call, and then at the end, the recording was like, "Oh, we got you with this prank call or something." It was like, I don't know, maybe it'll be on a radio station or something. But they got me. I'm like, what? So it was weird. I thought you were accidentally phone calling me during the stream. So I was like, okay.
It looks like Jack Strunk, who had the question, says he'll be at Horror Hound weekends. I've been spending all day packing, and the one thing I did is because I'm doing the full Leatherface costume photos this weekend, and my wife, we're getting all packed up, and I realized I left my mask an hour away at a place that I go do my voiceovers. And when I go to do the voiceovers, then I get in the sound booth there and I bring the mask up and I'll cut a promo where I'm going to be or what's going on. And I totally left it in the studio there. And I was like, so then I had to get in the car in the rain. It's pouring rain out here right now. We're having another rain. We have never had this much rain in California since I was a young kid.
Wow.
So I've been just trying to get things packed, get the costume, because it's always a pain in the butt. I can't put my costume in the luggage down below that goes below the plane, because if they lose my luggage for some reason, then I'm out a $1,500 costume, which is not they can't make it in a day or two. So bags, banners, the whole bit. It's going to be a big production for the big Shwag to go out and fly to go do something. So got that all done today. I'm all ready to go. So Jack, we'll see you this weekend. Even going to have a whole bunch of sledgehammers. Now my buddy who makes these sledgehammers out there is bringing 17. So I will have 17 sledgehammers over the weekend to sign if folks want to get them. So make sure you come by and say hello. Another good friend of the show's, Doug Tate's going to be there signing this weekend. So make sure you go say hello to Doug Tate as well. And it's just a shame that you two aren't going to be there with me this weekend in Cincinnati.
I know, that would have been fun. While you're talking, though, if I was a DJ right now when you were talking, I was going to play that song, Sledgehammer. Remember Sledgehammer?
Come on, that's
Classic 80s.
no, it's
Sledgehammer.
oh, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I can't either.
I mean, I was an 80s kid too.
Is that
Gabriel, Peter Gabriel.
My sister's what I need.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, Pete Gabriel.
All right, okay. Oh, James Roth said, I didn't realize I didn't click the link. So, James, were you one of the Facebook users? Maybe that was it. Oh, you guys, we have greetings from Chile.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Greetings.
Hello. Hola.
Ricardo Francisco Guzman.
Guzman. Sí. No, Chile. What language is Chile? What do you guys
Spanish.
speak? Spanish.
We're good.
I won't embarrass you with my terrible Spanish. Anyone from Japan? I know somebody earlier, Konnichiwa, but anyway. Well, so yeah, you're on a roll there, Brett. You're going to be doing show after show. I'm going to be on.
Yeah, where are you going to be? You got some stuff coming up.
Well, so I'm going on April 4th. I fly to LA, and my flight is going to be way longer than my scene. So I fly out to LA, stay overnight on the 4th. On the 5th, we film my scene, which is, like I said, way shorter than my flight. And then I fly back on the 6th. But, you know, they're willing to pay me and bring me out there. So I'm very excited and happy. This is this film, The Dead Place, directed and written by Michael Pickle, starring David Howard Thornton, who we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's playing this evil entity in this. And then this amazing young actor, Idris. I cannot think of his last name right now, but I think he's going to become a household name because he's a really amazing actor. We had a table read, and I was so impressed by the other actors. It was a really good, it's a good, strong cast. It's a good, strong script. And I think it's going to be a really great film, The Dead Place. So you guys be on the lookout for it. Probably it'll come out in a year, and you'll want to buy a red hoodie. That's all I will say about that one. But anyway, yes, I'm flying out there, and then I fly back to New York. I'm here for Passover Seder, and then I fly to Singapore on the 9th, and I won't be back till the 29th. So I'm going to be in Singapore and Bali and Vietnam.
Is that leisure? Is that vacation?
It's actually leisure. Well, the Singapore, my brother lives there. Bali, my stepfather lives there. And then Vietnam is the first time I'm just going to travel with my husband. I've never been to Vietnam.
Wow. That sounds, now you're going to have to do us a favor. You're going to have to take a lot of pictures and send them to us. Take some video, because it would be awesome to see that stuff. I've never, I would love to go to Singapore, obviously. I mean, I'd love to go to Vietnam. Yeah. We'd love to go anywhere. But we have our dog, so it's tough right now. And we have to figure out to get a dog sitter so Lola can, because it's tough. If you don't have a dog sitter, then you have to take the dog everywhere, and we can't go out of state with a 70-pound, beautiful German Shepherd. So
she's adorable. Well, that's my thing. Is you saw my cat earlier. This is going to be the first time he's going to be alone. I mean, somebody's obviously coming every day, but we have no more animals. My beautiful beloved dog Honey passed away after 18 years. I mean, she lived 18 years, and that's a lot for a medium-sized dog.
That's a long time, yeah.
Yeah, she was a rescue, but now Rolly is going to be all by himself in this house for like almost an entire month.
Wow. Yeah, we rescued Lola from another famous female actor in the business. Linda Blair. So
Okay.
we went to Linda Blair's rescue thing, and we rescued Lola. And Lola is the most wonderful dog in the world. And I travel a lot, so I was trying to get something that would, a dog that would be very protective. And the wife, not that the wife can't handle herself, she's really good with swords and a gun in her hand. So, but it like gets a little warning, a little instead of an alarm, we have the dog for her. So, but she doesn't like other dogs, Beatrice. So she's like, just hates. Hate is probably a weak word for it. I don't know how to. Hate is not strong enough. My wife is saying in the background for her
Relationship.
distaste for other dogs. But that's great. It's good about the working thing. I mean, I'll be filming up there with Sean C. Phillips and Bai Ling, Robert Lasardo, and Tom Arnold. So I get to. I've always been a fan of Tom Arnold. So we'll be in Vegas filming with him.
Oh, fun.
In between that, doing an appearance at Nightmare Cafe and Nightmare Toys. So that's going to be very exciting with our friend Christy up there. And then we were just talking last night, John, about Cocaine Bear, Meth Gator. And I was, sending maybe we were sending some good vibes because the guys in Crack Coon, who we were talking about the poster, got a hold of me. And so it looks like I'm going to be in May flying out to Virginia to have and it's actually, it's a really good story from what these guys told me. And I love the poster. So whenever you got a good poster, I'm down to get out there and film. So it looks like I'll be doing some work on Crack Coon.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Can I tell you guys a really fun thing I just got asked today? A guy in Chicago is doing a fan film, a Crystal Lakey type of fan film, and he wants me to do a cameo as, can you believe it, Pamela Voorhees. I thought that'd be so cool because then I get to be Freddie's mom and Jason's mom. How about that?
Hey, listen, there's a niche.
Yeah, the horror moms. But I mean, those two characters are so different as I love in this that piece up there in the corner. I don't know if you can see, but I love that because, you can't really see that one. But anyway, but it's Jason and Freddie as kids playing on this little, playground thing. And Amanda's trying to pull Freddie back, whereas Pamela's trying to encourage her son to go and attack, They're different parenting styles, I would say. But, so I'm a
great piece.
Yeah, but I'm so thrilled that he asked me to play that role. So I'm very excited. Jack is
you guys are killing it right now in the movies. I'm proud of both of you guys. I think that's why the fans really like you guys both is because you're so accessible and you guys are so busy right now in these indie community and these projects. People absolutely love it. And I can speak on a lot of people I talk to. They're excited to see you guys in these upcoming indie projects to support. Congratulations.
Well, listen, we're very lucky. I mean, it's a grind as I've said before out here. I mean, I'm a much better when we used to before pre-COVID, when we go in for an audition. I love to go in for an audition because I will study up on who the director is, who the producers are. If I've worked for them before, I get to see the casting director. I get to say hello to the girl that answers the phones at the desk. Hey, how are you? Because you never know who that lady answering the phones might be the next casting director in some big movie. It usually happens like that. So it's a great way to work a room, get in and say hello. And then if they don't like what you did, they can always say, can you try it this way? Now, the way we audition is through a computer. Or if you're lucky, you get to Zoom. Maybe if it's a callback, especially in LA, you might go in and see the director and everything up. It's usually across a computer, which is still kind of tough when you're, just like we're watching right now. It's just a little glimpse, and at least you can see our personalities this way. But I'd much rather go in a room. So to be able to work and be able to talk to some of these guys, and we do some interviews with these folks, and you and Beatrice get to do interviews with a lot of these filmmakers who are, putting these movies out and, doing great jobs at raising money and the Listen, Terrifier 2 is opened the doors. I mean, there's a lot of other movies that have been out there, but Terrifier 2 now, with making the kind of money they did on the budget they did, is opening the doors for a lot more independent films out there. And I think it's just the next couple of years are going to be very busy with people making movies, whether they're fan films or whether they're standalone films. There's just a lot of opportunity for, some veteran actors like me and Beatrice to get out there.
For sure, for sure. And we're up.
Like you said with Terrifier.
Yeah, what was that?
I mean, the opportunities there. I mean, and there's some talented people, some talented filmmakers out there, and a lot of great castings too. So there's potential for another, I don't want to say Terrifier 2, but an indie project to really do well in the theaters, really well if it's well done. So there's opportunity. I think there's more opportunity right now in indie than really anywhere else.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you have an indie film and you can get a couple people that are good actors, that have been around a little bit, that understand how to get out there, that don't make waves, that don't mind coming in, flying in, staying at an Airbnb and working for you for a couple of days, and then you can mix them in with some fresh new faces out there, and it usually works, and it works good. And I love working. When I got to work on The Evil 3, I got to meet a lot of young actors, and we were sitting there BSing, and they were asking me questions, and I was asking them questions, and it's just to be able to work with some, hopefully like Jason Brooks and some of these guys who are doing stuff, and these guys are the next big deals. It's going to happen. So it's exciting to get on the early. What does that say, Happy?
It says, "Hi, Dave Hogg."
Hi, Doug.
To be able to, to work with some of these guys that are coming up now, it's very exciting, and it's you never know where they're going to be in a year or two. So
the only thing, Brett, though, it's funny though. I don't know if you've had this experience. A lot of the younger people, the films that I've been cast in, like I have about 6, actually 7 little parts this year so far that people have asked me to do, which I'm very excited about. But when you talk to a lot of the younger people, the filmmakers, they don't know half the people we've worked with. Like when, if I say, Katharine Hepburn or Mickey Rooney or even Emilio Estevez, people are like, they've all heard of Johnny Depp. That's the one person I work with that people,
21 Jump Street.
They don't seem to remember anybody else, not that, it's funny. I guess we were a long time.
It's different times though now too,
sure.
Because it's hard to, like, Star Wars, that was what was out. Horror movies, Nightmare on Elm Street, that's what it was out. There wasn't a huge range unless you went to a video store, and kind of, but now with video on demand and all these different movies you can access, some of the greats get lost. I've noticed Psycho barely gets talked about, and that's one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
So Jack, even though it was a short film, how do you feel about playing the part of the great Gunner?
I guess that's The Evil 3. Is that The Evil 3 that I play Gunner? Or that's that's The Grind that I got to work with. Yeah, that was great. Listen, I love working. So if I'm not working, then I'm sitting at home. So to work is great.
I thought they were talking about the scene where you slam the door in the remake.
Well, that was obviously awesome as well. When I got sent home, it wasn't so awesome. When I got hurt and got heat stroke, and I didn't want to ever see or talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre the rest of my life, and got rid of every poster and figure ahead, which was a big financial loss, because all that stuff would be worth about 10 or 15 grand right now. But listen, if you're an actor coming up right now, let me tell you, you got to go watch some. You got to work with Richard Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss, people go, oh, he's Richard Dreyfuss was an amazing A-list actor, and I'm an A-list actor, and he's a great actor. And we talked about Sidney Poitier, we talk about all these guys, but people, you got to remember, these guys were the thing, and they weren't the thing because they were not good actors. They were tremendous at what they did. I was used to Jaws and uh, what was
Right? Are you thinking Close Encounters?
Close Encounters, right? And then all of a sudden you see Stakeout and you're seeing, wait a minute, boy,
Right.
Richard Dreyfuss is funny.
Yeah.
This guy, he can do it all. I mean, people forget about these guys, and they shouldn't, because listen, it's the same guy, Richard Dreyfuss. I mean, I love him as an actor, great as a comedian, great as but yeah, people need to watch all that stuff.
And I was in bed with him.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I think people have heard the story before, but when we were filming in Stakeout, there's a scene where, so he and, for those of you who don't know, it's a buddy film. It was actually the first comedy drama buddy cop film. I think it was the first one. But anyway, so it was Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez. And so Emilio's in bed and he gets a phone call from Richard Dreyfuss. And Richard Dreyfuss is he has a drinking problem and he's trying to not open the bottle, and he's talking to his cop buddy Emilio, who's talking him off of the shelf, as it were. Anyway, while he's on the phone, I come into the room. Emilio's in bed, and I apologize for not getting the phone. Emilio calls me over. I get into bed with Emilio. Well, anyway, Richard Dreyfuss, and this was one of the things about him, as Brett was saying, he was at the time like the top of his game. He's like the A-list actor. And a lot of times A-list actors won't come on set on the days if they're just doing the off-screen stuff. They'll just let the script lady read their lines, because if they're not going to be in front of the camera and their voice isn't going to be heard, they don't need to come. Richard Dreyfuss came just to stand off screen and read his lines to Emilio, and which was really, really sweet of him. So we're doing our scene, and he improvs the way he always does, because one of the lines was, he says, "Kiss Carol for me." My name is Carol. We're in bed. Emilio's in bed with me. And then Rich Dreyfuss added the line, "No, lower." So, because Emilio's kissing me on the face, and then, you hear him saying, "No, kiss her lower," basically. Anyway, so we're just, in bed joking around. And it's, being filmed. And then suddenly we hear this word, we hear threesome, and Richard Dreyfuss jumps in, comes up in front of the camera, and it wasn't part of the movie at all. He jumps into bed. So I'm sandwiched between him and Emilio Estevez. Oh my God, what I would give to have that film.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. To have that little snippet, a little outtake that's amazing.
If somebody has it, because he hadn't said cut yet, so the director, and actually then the director jumped into bed with us too. Seriously. So I had all three guys. Yeah.
A little foursome action going. It's so funny, because speaking of Jaws and Richard Dreyfuss and Roy Schneider, we just watched, my wife and me were watching Marathon Man last night, which is, Dustin Hoffman's, Laurence Olivier, for God's sakes, and Roy Schneider, back when Roy Schneider was the cream of the crop, A-list actor, and watching this stuff. And I don't know if they don't make movies, and I don't think they make actors like they used to. People are quick to become stars, and they become movie stars very quick nowadays, because a movie could be so, do $300 million and that person's a star. Whereas before, these guys, they had the credits, they worked, they did theater, they did off-Broadway, they did all this stuff, and they eventually became, big movie stars and just tremendous actors. So if anybody gets a chance, watch Marathon Man, watch Roy Schneider, watch a young Dustin Hoffman, and of course, the great Sir Laurence Olivier in their Is It Safe? And it's just one of my favorite movies of all time. But yeah, I would get in bed with Emilio Estevez and Richard Dreyfuss, for God's sakes, for a threesome.
For sure. So trivia for you guys. Speaking of, so Richard Dreyfuss, right, top of his game, Jaws, all that good stuff. What was his first movie, and what was his line? He had one line in the first movie he appeared in.
Oh, is it going to be American Graffiti?
Nope. There he had more lines than one.
Okay.
And he co-starred with somebody you just mentioned in your list.
Laurence Olivier or Roy Schneider.
Roy Schneider, Laurence Olivier, Dustin Hoffman.
I have no idea.
Okay. So it's going to be. Is it? What's with the woman where he's a young guy?
Mrs.
Mrs.
The Graduate.
Mrs.
No.
Robinson.
Robinson, yeah. Right?
What?
Yeah.
What?
The Graduate?
The Graduate.
So in The Graduate, Richard Dreyfuss,
Yeah.
one scene where Dustin Hoffman's running into the girl's dorm towards the end of the movie, the daughter, because now she's, found out that he's been with his mother or whatever, with her mother. And so Dustin Hoffman's running back to try to get the girl back or something. He's running into the girl's dorm and people are saying, you can't be in here. Or maybe it's not the girl's dorm, because why would Richard Dreyfuss be there? But anyway, it was some dorm that he wasn't allowed to be in, Dustin Hoffman. And so Dustin Hoffman's running up the stairs, and one of the teachers comes out to try to stop him. And Richard Dreyfuss is one of the students, a hall monitor or something. And he walks by and he says, shall I call the cops? I'll call the cops. That's his line. That was it. That was his first thing. And
Jack Strunk got it. He got it at.
Wow, look at that. Hey, what a movie to be in, though, right? I mean, at the time, that was, it's just, it's tough. It's not that I'm super old. I'm 55 years old, but, I grew up watching movies that my dad and my mom would watch. And when my dad said, this is a good movie, like, Marathon Man, or he would watch, for God's sake, On the Waterfront, which is one of my favorite movies. Just the actors and stuff like that. And even the 60s and the 70s, the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids, movies like that were so big and they were so good. Cool Hand Luke, which is in top 5 movie for me. If you look at the celebrities and the actors that came out of that movie, for God's sakes, Paul Newman didn't win an Academy Award, but George Kennedy did for Best Supporting. How Paul Newman did not win an Academy Award for that still mystifies me. But one of the greatest, it's just the work from actors back then was so good.
Yeah.
But, me and Beatrice, we'll carry the torch. So we'll get us some work. We'll put in those Academy Award performances for you.
Yeah. It might be in us yet. Who knows, right?
Richard Dreyfuss was at Comic-Con this weekend, and I did not get a chance to meet him. I really wanted to, but I just didn't have the time.
I would love to see him again. Oh my gosh.
Bummed out about that.
Oh, I didn't know. So he does do those shows?
Yeah, he's been doing quite a few conventions lately. Yeah.
Oh, that would be hilarious if we could run into each other. That would be awesome. Very cool. Does Emilio ever do any? Does anyone know? Emilio Estevez?
I think Emilio has fallen off the planet. I don't know. I haven't heard about Emilio Estevez. And have you heard about Emilio Estevez, sweetie? No. And my wife, who goes out and does a lot of red carpet events, has said no either.
Because he directs. I mean, he still keeps directing stuff. He had just, what was the most recent one?
I think he did another Mighty Ducks a couple years ago.
But he also and he also did. He directed and wrote. It's so funny because he's so intellectual, so completely opposite of his brother. It was funny because when I was living in LA, my roommate was Charlie Sheen's best friend, so Charlie Sheen was always coming over. But I would, but Emilio would often ask me out. We'd meet. We were good friends, but we're friends enough that he'd ask me to meet him up in. Malibu for sushi, Yuma sushi, whatever. Anyway, but he's a much more thoughtful guy and does a lot of. He did that film with his dad, The Way. You see that where they're walking the Camino del.
Yeah.
And then then a couple of years ago he just did one with homeless people in a library. What was that called? They're holed up in a library over when it's freezing and the library's trying to kick them out, and they end up. It was really a story about homelessness. Emilio directed that too. He was in
Again,
it.
a great actor, but he has the comedy chops, right? So when you're like that and you're so good at comedy, people tend to want to hire you for comedy. But a great actor, and gosh, you know, I mean, I would the Mighty Ducks series and all that stuff that he did with them was, he, you know, he was a good actor. I got to work with his brother on Two and a Half Men. So before Charlie went and did his own thing, I got to work with Charlie on that, playing a convict about to do bad things to Charlie in prison. But
Find him. Let's
yeah,
see.
good stuff, man.
Yeah, Charlie's a character for sure. But speaking, so it goes the other way too, the comedy to drama. What's his name from The Office? And just now he played the victim of that kidnapper. You guys know what I'm talking about? It was a TV, like Netflix, I think it was. Like the patient, not the patient. The patient. I think it is called The
You're
Patient.
talking to the one who the actor who played Michael Scott on
The
The Office.
Office, like
What's his real name?
I think it's
Honey,
Mike-
who's on The Office that's on the patient?
The show, The Office.
Steve Carell?
yes, Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. Yeah.
He played, and you know how funny he is. So he played a very serious role in this thing. I think it's called The Patient. It was a
For
mini.
God's sakes, he got to work with Mark Ruffalo and did the whole wrestling thing, the DuPont thing. I mean, you know, he was nominated for Academy Award, right? Sweetie, Steve Carell. I think he was nominated for that as well with Mark Ruffalo and then Magic Mike guy,
Oh, I didn't know that.
the pretty boy.
I know he was, because he was nominated with SAG, because I remember voting for him. I thought at the SAG Awards he was nominated for the thing I'm talking about, which is called The Patient, and he played. It was with the redhead guy from British actor from Harry Potter was the star. He played a psychotic serial killer.
Redhead actor from Harry Potter.
That played serial killer.
Honey, what's the redhead actor from Harry Potter?
Yes, Steve Carell. Anyone else?
That's all right. I keep going. I ask my wife because she knows all these things and goes and does a little side hustle and gets autographs from all these people and goes to the red carpet events. So
yeah, Ron. What is it, Ron? And he played Ron.
Yeah, not Carrot Top.
Oh, Rupert Grint. Is that his name? The actor's name?
Rupert Grint? Yes, that is Rupert Grint. Yes.
He played, so he played the serial killer, and he takes his psychiatrist, played by Steve Carell, hostage, and keeps him in his chained up in his basement because he's trying to get better. The murderer wants to get better. It was a really powerful show. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's called The Patient. I won't tell you how it ends, but it was. If they show it again, or I don't know if it's streaming. I think it was Netflix. Does Netflix do like stream a series?
Netflix does everything.
Okay, so
well, one of the streaming services has it because they all.
Sure.
I mean, if it's not one place, it's another. And yeah.
Well,
what's going on, everybody in the chat?
Here, Doomsday, my man. How are you, brother? Fauci Cinema.
Yeah, Matt Fauci. How you doing, brother?
Okay. What's this?
Horns with Daniel. Yes, with Daniel Radcliffe. I've seen Horns. It was pretty good. I was surprised that it was as good as it was. I didn't expect it to be a good movie. It was like the title alone, but it was good. I liked it. Yeah, as the lead kid from Harry Potter. Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe.
So because Brett and I have been babbling, and our dear John has just had to listen, I'm going to throw this out. John, you probably don't even know all three questions. I'm going to make you answer one of our three questions.
Oh,
and
no, no, I don't. Oh, man.
You're on the spot, dude. Do 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, I've been kind of being quiet because I'm not sure if I'm lagging. 1, 2, or 3. I'll take we're gonna go double dose of 3 tonight since
same question.
Everybody was kind of ignoring it.
All right.
Oh, is it does? Oh, you didn't switch them up. I'll do 2 then. I'll do 2.
Do 2. Okay. All right, 2. If you were to be thrown into an endlessly repeating day, just like in the movie Groundhog Day, what day from your life would you choose and why?
Oh, wow.
So for the rest of your life, you can
That's a
only
tough. That's
one day over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Which one?
oh man,
Wow.
that's honestly a tough one. I mean, there's so many great moments in life and some that aren't great. But repeating it, I don't know if there's a day I'd ever want to repeat because then you'd lose the joy in it. Like nothing can stay fun that long.
What?
But man, that's
The day you met me. No, I'm just kidding.
childhood
I will.
memories.
I'll hold off. I will tell you mine. Okay. The day I got
A
married,
day to repeat itself.
or the day the
Yep.
first time I kissed before she was my wife, the first time I kissed my girl. Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
it, because
that's great.
that
What's the question?
the question was, if you had to repeat one day in your life for the
Over-
rest of your life, what would it be? So I would go with the first day I kissed my girl, because it was I was nervous. It was very special, and then ever since then we've been together almost 12 years. So
That's sweet. Yeah, I've said this before. I would have chosen my wedding day, although my kids, and the reason I would choose my wedding day is all the people that I love most in the world came. We're all there together. It was a magical day. All my best friends, and it was the first and last and one and only time that I had all my siblings together, because my dad was married 4 times, so there were one sister lived in Switzerland.
wow.
All over the world. So I would do that. But when I do say that, my kids, my 2 sons, are like, "What?" Because they weren't even born yet. So they would
Well,
be.
I hate to be a party
I-
pooper, but
Oh, yeah.
I gotta get up at 3:30 a.m. to go to the airport, and I still have to pack and do everything.
Oh my gosh, yes, and it is.
Oh,
It is.
Virginia Cano is saying 50 First Dates film, which is just like that, the same thing. They keep repeat, because isn't that 50 First Dates where she has no memory, honey? So yeah, she has no memory. She has short-term memory. So every day is a new day, and they keeps doing the same thing, trying to date her, and just until she gets over. All right, that's a good one, Virginia. But hey, Beatrice, thank you so much for having me on. It is a pleasure to get to chat with you in person. I hope that we get to hook. What state are you in?
New York.
Okay, New York. Are you near Buffalo?
No, I'm near New York City. I'm just outside of the city.
Okay.
So,
I will be in Buffalo for Nickel City Convention. I do go do Syracuse car show, the Syracuse National, during the year, and I will figure a way to get out there so we can at least go grab some dinner or grub together, and hopefully you, me, and John will be doing a convention together sometime this year,
for sure.
yeah, we'll have to plan it for this year. But it's been a pleasure. I'm a big fan of yours. Definitely a big fan of your work. I love that you are doing this show with John, and you got all those cool things that John has not brought into our show. We need some openings. We need that whole entrance. We need the laugh, the talking, and all that. So maybe we can talk Beatrice into doing that for us.
There you go.
Oh, he's been asking about him. Like Beatrice puts in a lot of hard work on the DK and the Bees thing. She's there. She gets everything prepped. She's a pro on it. So
Yeah.
it always makes it fun.
Well,
But
'cause
I was gonna say my day, if I had to repeat it, would probably have been the day that we all met at the restaurant and my whole family was there. That was a fun day. So
amazing day.
that hits that was one that's the most recent. I could say, man, that'd be cool to live a few days of or for a while in Groundhog Days.
And then you
So
different snacks each time. You could order different foods,
yeah. I mean, there was a lot on that menu.
right? Yeah. Okay, well, we hope to see you, Brett, soon. Thank
Thank you very much. Folks, come see me at Horror Hound, Sharonville Convention Center this weekend in Cincinnati. It's going to be great. I mean, they got some it's probably going to sell out. I know that the VIP sold out all the pictures. I mean, for God's sakes, Bruce Campbell is doing 4 sessions a day of photographs with folks, the pro photos. He's doing 8 in 2 days. I mean, so make sure you get on there. Go to the website, horrorhoundweekend.com. Whether it's me, whether it's, Doug Tate, whether it's all these folks that are going to be there, go get yourself, if you want to get a pro photo, because I'm bringing the damn costume out there, and it's a pain. They always look when I go through the airport. They're like, "What's that in there?" I said, "It's a mask." And they go, "Oh, we're going to have to look at that." And then they want to take it out and talk about it. So make it worth your while. Come down, say hello. Sledgehammers, pictures, Funko Pops, comic books, license plates by Michael Toth. We got the whole thing going on there. So this weekend, I appreciate seeing you two, and we'll chat soon when I get back.
All right.
All right.
So much.
Safe travels.
Thank you, guys.
All righty.
Thanks, Brett. And thank you, Beatrice. It's going to be our last show for about a month.
Yeah. So those of you who stuck around, don't go away yet. There's a few of you still on here. 44 people, it said. Before you go away, you guys, it is the last time. Oh, birth of your daughter. Who's this? Paul Nada says birth of my daughter.
Probably on the question, if they could repeat the day over and over.
Yeah. But we just want to let you know that we're not going to be around, the two of us, for a month. But we will be back. What was this? I just want to, Beatrice, what was the series called? You just said a little while ago. Oh, the series the show that I was talking about was called The Patient. That's the one with Steve Carell. Prayerful Jason's mom in the multiverse of Jason film. Is that you? Flash Entertainment Productions? I didn't say the name of the multiverse of Jason.
Yeah, that's Maurice. Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't actually say it because I wasn't sure if I was allowed to say it yet, but I'm so stoked. I think that's going to be so much fun. Really looking forward to that. And for those of you who are still on here, now there's only a few of you left. Do one of you guys want to answer that question? It is Maurice. Hi. Yeah, I'm really, as soon as you said that about playing Jason's mom, I was really thrilled. I just think that would be so funny that I could have played, both moms. That would be really cool. But before we hang up or before we close off, do any of our listeners, watchers want to answer that question? What would be your Groundhog Day that you'd want to live over and over? Any comments? Yes, no, maybe so.
I think everybody thought we were ending it like before, so I don't know.
Yeah, because it went from
lost everybody.
People to boom down to 20. Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Marrying your hubby, Patricia Van. Oh, hi, Patricia. Marrying her
Last time James Rose saw his dad. That's a nice one too, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought about that too. Last time I saw my dad. But, oh, here, what's this? Good for everyone, Chile. Ricardo Francisco. So did they dub me nicely in Chile? my lines. Your birth was the curse on the whole of humanity. How did that sound in Spanish? The day B agrees to be part of my production will be the day I want to replay every day. Yay! All right.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. We'll
enthusiasm for that.
Yeah. Not just
that'll be really cool for you. Because it's such a different mother than Amanda. So,
yeah.
Like you pointed out before.
Maurice, I have a wig. I bought a wig and it actually I do. I have a wig just like that actually. I have a Pamela Voorhees wig because I thought maybe I should use that because I'm playing this dead grandma in another film, and they always say I don't look old enough, even though I am. I'm an old lady, but I guess I just look young. So anyway, I have a wig that would be perfect for Pamela Voorhees. So there you go.
They got to add a wig to make you look older. Yeah. Such
a
hard thing, huh?
Flash Entertainment, I agree officially here with witnesses. I will be in the film. Oh, here we go. John, do you do horror cons? Yes, he does. John, tell him.
Yeah, I do a lot of horror cons. I'll be at 6 of them this year. I'll be in Kansas City, Crypticon in July. In August, I'll be in, what is August? Is that Denver or Minnesota? Denver. I think Denver is in August. And then I forget. Minnesota, Crypticon, Denver Crypticon, Scarefest, and Midwest Monster Fest, and of course Monster Expo in Taunton, Massachusetts. So
That's-
yeah, quite a few of them.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys will catch up with John at shows. And a lot of you, yes, you would relive the day your kid was born. That's beautiful. Don't let my kids see it because they'll get mad at me. They're going, see?
And if you guys know I'm going to a con, I've even said it before, just make sure to reach out, support those conventions that I'm going to or Beatrice is going to. If you'd love to see us together at one, fan demand goes a long way. So we always appreciate your support on that. We'll bring some really, really cool items. And of course, Freddie's mother.
All right. Okay. Yay. Flash Entertainment. Okay. Well, shoot. None of the ones they're going to be at. Patricia Van. Well, we're going to keep trying to get more and more. Dallas. I'm going to be in Texas, but not Dallas. Is San Antonio? Is San Antonio too far, Michael, to get to? And Days of the Dead. So Jack Strunk, my agent has been trying to get me into Days of the Dead. And so far they're not responding to any of his people. So we want to be at Days of the Dead. If anyone, you guys have to request us. Say we want her, we want him. Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say. Yeah, the more you want Brett or Beatrice, any of these people at your conventions or anybody in general, going to a convention that's by you and asking if they're going to bring it or they'd have interest in somebody like that is always goes a long way. When the fans want to see it and the people that are paying money to go to an event and they'd like to see that guest there, it does speak volumes.
Yeah. And if you really want, like, you can actually just, get a bunch of your friends to text them and email them and say, we want this actor or that actor. Albuquerque. Yeah, you know what? We were supposed to be at a show in Albuquerque. I was supposed to be at one, what's it called? The Albuquerque, I don't know. They wanted myself. They were going to have me and Mark Patton from Elm Street 2 and I think Hal Havens and from Night of the Demons and John Dugan from Texas Chainsaw. And then they suddenly just, like, I don't know, backed out before they sent us the contract. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, well, thank you so much, you guys. And Michael, so come out to what did I say, San Antonio? I think I posted what show it was. Right. What else do we want? I'm just looking at the comments here.
Yeah, I was checking them out too. Hi, Sabana. Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Virginia's saying there's a movie called Knock on the Cabin Door. Does anyone know about that?
I don't know about that one.
We'll watch Mikey on Tubi. Okay. Enough of you talking.
Knock on Cabin Door. All right. I that's a new movie. I think that's the Batista one. I might be wrong. Okay. But anything else you wanted to leave off with?
Well, just keep watching Doomsday Crypt. John and his podcast will still be going on next month, both his singular ones and the ones shooting with the shiz. And then we'll be back in May. And I guess it's bedtime for me. But those of you who follow me, I put all my shows. If I'm going to be at a show, I do announce it as soon as I'm allowed to announce it. So I'd love to meet you guys and keep supporting Doomsday Crypt, watching our shows and John's shows. And John has a website now. It's in development. It's not fully up yet, but part of it is up. So that's something.
Yeah, hopefully the next few weeks I'll have it set up. Once I go to Florida, I'll have a few days off, and that's going to give me some time away from work and get some things I want to get done and visit my folks while I'm down there. So I will probably not be live for a little bit, but I'll try to, catch up with people. They might be random ones, not so much scheduled shows. We'll have a list of mine and Brett's shows coming up, and me and Beatrice are already going to be working on some things that we've talked about behind the scenes that we'll have set up when we come back in May. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some really cool stuff.
And Virginia, so you've said it a couple times, and Mikey, the kid actor from Nightmare, are you talking about Wit, that plays Jacob, the demon child, the baby? Yeah. It's not usually a photo of me with him. You must be meaning Wit if he's in that movie. Mikey, is that a current movie or an old movie, Mikey? I don't know.
It is. I think I had Brian Bunzel from what was it? Family Ties. The kid from Alex Keaton's younger brother was a star in Mikey. So I think he's talking about Wit.
Wit, okay. And then, Michael said he's shipping me a figure. What kind of figure? Is it the Amanda doll or something else? Or Baby Freddy? Can't wait to see what he wants me to sign. Okay. All right. So I guess that's it. It is bedtime. Yeah.
Yep.
We're
We'll
both
see you soon.
sleepy.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm exhausted myself. I got to do a few things, and I'm going to get to sleep. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Beatrice, as always. Have a great month. Have a great filming. Have a great trip, and I will talk to you soon. Peace out.
Bye-bye, guys. Baby Freddy. Cool. In the ship outfit. Oh, very cool. Bye-bye.